She's here to answer all of your questions that you might have about mediumship. So be sure to add them in the comments, and we'll do our best to get through as many as we can. I always love starting by just finding out how, I guess, how they connected with mediumship and how it all started for them. What was your journey with mediumship like?
Right. Well, my journey was started years and years ago, and what happened was that I was interested in yoga and the spiritual teachers from India very much. So I worked with that for many years, and through that, actually, I became interested in the spirit world because all my spiritual teachers were in the spirit world already. And then I went to the England, to the Art of Findlay College in Stansted, and that's where I met the main teacher who trained me, and that's where I got involved and interested, enthusiastic about it. Not because of somebody passed in my family, but just because I was interested, in particularly also in the beginning, to get in contact with my spirit friends, my guides, my inspirational teachers from India.
Talking of Arthur Findlay College, you're a well-respected tutor of the Arthur Findlay College, and you obviously teach a lot of people, even in your mediumship school in Holland. What do you think makes a really good medium?
When people are really interested to do self-inquiry, is important to become aware of their thoughts and to become conscious of the mind, not the psychological mind, which we use during the daytime most of the time, but most of all, the mind, which is a very strong power within the heart, within the true self. And to get in touch with that and understand that the psychological mind is making us very confused and using all the emotions we find in life, and to understand that psychological mind and get away from lots of emotions which makes us feel sad, unhappy, then we can hear the spirit world better and sense them better. So that's a very important part to become a good medium for me.
You are talking of the heart. You're currently doing a series of Zoom sort of workshops based on heart, reconnecting with the heart. What are you doing in those courses?
What I'm doing is explaining people and taking them on the road to go to the source of the mind, where the mind, so to the root of the mind. And I can't explain that all now, but if you go to your heart, your spiritual heart, then that's where the mind is an aspect of. And instead of going to your psychological mind all the time and connect it and feel or have the idea that you are the psychological mind, which many people do, but if you go downwards to the spiritual heart, where the mind rests when we are asleep, for example, not the dream sleep, but the deep sleep, then the mind becomes quiet. And if you feel that when you are awake, because when you are in deep sleep, you don't observe it, but when you observe it in the daytime and you bring your thoughts towards the spiritual heart, then you can observe the silence between thoughts, which makes you understand, or which makes you experience, that's a better word, that you are silent yourself. And that's what you are, and that's what the heart is all about. And there is not something like illness or bad moods. That's just silence and happiness. And those are the questions in mediumship many people ask, how can I become happy? What can you say about death? So, yeah, go there. Find who you truly are. And then all those questions disappear forever.
Mm. It's bringing it back to yourself before you start connecting
Because
with
that's
spirit.
what you are.
Mm.
And many mediums, they do sit for a while and then they understand how the language of the spirit world works, and they think, well, this is it. I don't have to sit anymore. And there are some people who are in contact with their real self, so they don't have to sit all the time because they understand what the real self is and they can live from it. But I've seen many mediums um, who don't and just work with the spirit world without developing themselves and checking who they really are.
Mm. What are some of the limitations that you see with your students? Like, what are some of the self-imposed limitations?
The limitations of the students,
Yeah, or any bad habits or myths that you might hear about.
yeah, when people are still um, doubting and questioning about their life, their partner, their work, things like that, I can't take away their doubt. Nobody can take away doubt. Yes, for a little while, but the doubt will come back again. So, what we do in the Academy of Mediumship here is asking them, don't put a cloth over the doubts, but go deeper and ask yourself, who has the doubt? Who's the doubter? And observe that. And here again, go to the root. Go to the root. Try to find out who is doubting.
When, there's that age-old question, is it my imagination or is it spirit? How do you help a student get over that?
Yeah, we run a school and students attend here for 3 or 4 years. And I see that most of the students need at least 2.5 years to get over that. Is it my imagination or is it the spirit world? Not all the time, of course, but the first year this question comes up a lot. And a lot of the answers are, it's probably your imagination. Only when I'm there and I can guide them through the exercise to blend with the spirit world, I can observe if the spirit world is there and what they are trying to communicate. But if they give that feedback after they worked in pairs, for example, then I can only say, well, accept that it's often your imagination. That's how it works. It costs time. It's learning another language. It's learning to let go of all kind of habits of the past, of yourself. So that takes time. That takes time. So yeah, but what's the point if it's your imagination? It works partly through our imagination because they are using our past objects we know, our past moods, our past illnesses, our past the people we knew. They can only work with our past spirit world. So if they show a student a situation of the medium's past, because the medium can feel into that picture or feel into that situation, then the student can think this is my imagination because this is what happened in my life. But that's part of the language of the spirit world.
We have Jed who wants to know, why is it that sometimes we just cannot place the communicator? We know that we are working with the essence and giving evidence, but it just doesn't seem to work.
Yeah, I would say don't worry. Don't worry at all. It happens. It happens in your development to become a medium. It happens in daily life that you don't always blend on a psychic level with other people. It happens to great mediums, and the reason why it can differ. It can be that the recipient, for example, is actually waiting for somebody else. And that's why their responses are not that lively. And the medium can get a bit disturbed because of that. Or if the medium is still staying lovely and in a good mood, but it can be that the recipient is just not happy and there is not enough communication between the medium and the recipient to find a solution. For example, asking, is there somebody you really want to speak to?
Mm. And Laura wants to know, do you have a specific way to blend with the spirit world?
A specific way. I would say try to be happy with the way you can blend with them. Try to understand if it works well. When you make a connection with the spirit world and it works, try to go back after your communication to find, what did I do? How did I feel? What did I say? What did I do? And then you will find that that will give you confidence. And you will find that maybe in a year's time, it will change a little bit how you blend with with them. Because hopefully you change yourself. You'll get to know yourself better and better, your real self. And from that, my own experience is that at a certain point, it's just there. Because if you're talking to people, I'm not talking to people's mind, I'm talking to the essence of people. And so if you are blending, if you are living, talking, working with the spirit world or in your daily life from that what you are, then you will find that the spirit world is there all the time. But of course, you allow them to talk with you for your clients when the time is there. I don't mean that they are there to tell you all kind of messages if it's not work time. You can ask them something for yourself if you want, but also that will change. That blending will change. Your guides will be there for hopefully to see that one day you don't need them to answer your questions, because in the end, I believe, but this is maybe not everybody's belief, but the guides are for me there to help us to get closer to what we are in essence. And when we can live from that, then they are walking alongside, but we don't need them to answer any questions for us anymore. So we are lucky, we are so blessed being on this path of mediumship where we can get the help, the guidance of the spirit world to get closer to our truth, our true self. Can you imagine if you've got nothing to do with mediumship? You've got to do everything on your own. We are blending with the spirit world all the time. And if you do that for years and years, and it doesn't matter if you do it in a trance or for communicating with loved ones, but you are communicating with a frequency and a world within our world, which is pure love. Isn't that wonderful?
One of the things that, I mean, you do so many classes and teaching and mentoring. What do you think if somebody's sitting at home looking for a mentor at the moment or somebody to go and study under, what do you think they should be looking for in a mentor?
It's very difficult to say do this or that, Danielle, because everybody is on their own pathway. I would ask that person if they would come to me. I would ask them, "What are you doing at this moment?" And if they would say, "Well, I'm doing, well, let's say tarot reading," I would say, "Do you enjoy it? You've got a tarot reader tutor. Yes. Do you enjoy it? Yes, very much." I would say, "Stay there until something comes into your life where you feel you've got to change." If they've got nothing and they want to develop their understanding of mediumship, they want to look into their own um, inner being, then I would suggest find out who you are. Find out who you are. And other people maybe call it find God, and without seeing God as a person, of course, but go within yourself, go to where your heart is. And that's not far away. And you need some guidance, and you can find the guidance. I can recommend Ramana Maharshi from India very much. It's a very direct way to understand that you are not a mind, you are not your body, you are not your emotions, you are not um, your ideas about the world, your concepts. There's only attachments. I would suggest Ramana Maharshi, but for myself, I have been, I think, since I was 30 years old. Since I was 20, I was interested in the yoga, but just did it on my own with 2 little books. Then when I was around 30 years old, I had the chance to run a bookshop, and I found a book of Yogananda, and his eyes were for me coming home. So that book was in my bag for 10 years, 15 years, and I looked at the man, I looked in his eyes, and I was home always. Then after that, it was like I heard him saying, "My job's done, and a new teacher will come, a spiritual teacher." And that was Ramana Maharshi. And I had his book, or 2 books actually, already for at least 10 years on my bookshelf. But I opened it one day and I couldn't understand a thing. So I closed it. And then when I heard my jobs is done, somebody else will come. I think a few months later, I opened that book or took it on holiday with me. And again, I looked into his eyes and I was home. And I thought, home again. But I was also, that happened also when I came at the Art of Findlay College. I felt home. When I met Paul Jacobs, I fell in love with him when I looked into his eyes, because he's living from the self as well. Different than, or different, you can't live different from the self than anybody else. But he also enjoys his daily, normal life attached to everything there, which is fine. Ramana was just living from the self, and he was a huge inspirator for millions of people. But that's somebody you don't see these days anymore. So I would suggest to the people who are looking and who are uh, really hoping to find someone, just live life. Live life, and you observe what you want, and life will guide you to a tutor, to a place itself.
Synchronicity can just make the amazing connections that you need just come effortlessly, can't it? Now we have a couple more that
To
are a
be
little bit
yourself
long.
is effortless, eh? Sorry, Danielle. To be
Sorry?
yourself is effortless.
Effortless, yeah. Well, it should be, shouldn't it? Now we have a couple of more questions. They're a little bit longer, so I'll see if I can speed them up a little bit. This question's about when they sleep, they often see dead people, just watching them and not saying anything.
When they sleep.
When they, yeah, when I sleep. No, nothing for that one.
Well, it's a question, and if there's a question and there's time, then we answer the question. But um, uh, I pulled the face because when we sleep, we sleep. And there is a difference between dream state or deep sleep state. So probably she means the dream state or maybe just before she falls asleep. So she's still awake but not fully awake. And then people often see the spirit world. Okay?
Or visitations in dreams. Okay,
Visitation.
so sorry.
Visitations, people to
Oh, you know
visit.
when past loved ones come into your dreams.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
Mm. Now we have another one from Paula. Every night she sees a mist through twinkly lights, and if she looks through her camera, she can see orbs of different colours. How can I see with my eyes? And what is this that I'm seeing?
Oh, yeah. Um, if she sees it, then that's her reality. I don't see it now, so it's difficult for me to say what it is. But she says herself, there are lights and it's orbs, so there's nothing to worry about. But I would suggest don't give it too much attention, because then the mind locks in, and then it can be. There's nothing wrong if the mind locks in this type of thing, but it can become a habit or a desire to see it, and that will maybe stop seeing other things. Okay, so and that's what the mind likes. The mind likes to log in, so that's where all the attention is going then. So there's nothing else which can appear. So it's lovely, it's positive, it's joyful, lights, orbs, nothing wrong with it, but just leave it there.
Mm, mm. And for somebody that may not be on a path for developing their mediumship skills, but they want to still have some sort of connection with spirit, what can they do in their home just to make that initial sensing the spirit?
Yeah, very good question, because um, there are so many people who would love to talk, to be with their loved ones, but they don't have the money, time, or the desire to become a medium. And I always say to students here, there are so many who join us not wanting to become a medium, but when people really want to talk to their loved ones or sit with their friends, their spirit friends, guides, then you need some guidance. You need some guidance, and so I would suggest go somewhere and feel if that person can help you to blend with the spirit world. So at least um, you get some feedback. You know something about that. It's absolutely a world of love and safeness and joy, and so that there are not questions rising when you are sitting with your father, mother, that it can be dangerous or negative, whatever. So for that, it would be good if you do some development somewhere so you understand what the spirit world is. If you know already what the spirit world is to that point, then I would say maybe it's good. I remember sometimes in the beginning I was just saying, Dad, are you here? Make me aware that you are here. I want to remember something from you, which I don't remember with my mind, but I want to see it again because you are putting it into my mind, or give me a feeling. And I do remember it became as if I really became my father. So I knew he heard me and made me aware of certain habits of him, where I, for years and years, didn't think of. Um, you can pick up a picture of your loved one and tell him or her, tonight 8 o'clock I've got time and I like to feel you around me or see something which doesn't come from my mind, from a last memory of last week or whatever. And so make an appointment with them. They still hear you, they love you, they want to be in contact with you, and there are many ways. Yeah, yeah. Sit with them.
That's great
If you like
advice.
to meditate, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it ties in with the next question actually, because Shannon wants to know, do you feel that everyone has the ability to connect with the spirit world?
Of course.
And because
Yes,
she's trying to connect with her children.
yeah,
I'll put it on the
yes.
screen too.
Yeah, for those who are trying to connect with their children. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, everybody can make a connection. Absolutely. Children, of course, parents want to connect with them. But if you don't have any children in this material life, then you want to connect as strongly with your parents or partner or animals, whatever. So everybody can connect. It is the point. What makes a difference is how good, good is not the right word, how long do you want to stay connected with them? Is it just for a few seconds, just to feel them around you, feel that love, feel that excitement, or feel the joy, or become a bit sad because they are left for your feeling? Everybody can learn that so quickly. But if you want to really blend with them to bring their love and their memories back to family members or friends, then it is a matter of several years, and everybody can learn it in several years. But again, here, how strong your mediumship is, how much time do you put into it, and then also how much time have you put into your own development. If I look back at Paul Jacobs, who was my teacher at the college in England, he told me he had to sit for several years with Gordon Higginson, the medium, very charismatic man of the college and throughout the world. Gordon made Paul sit for a long time before he was allowed to make a contact with the spirit world, just to find that touch of love from God. Because how is it possible if you connect with the spirit world but not with yourself? It should be going hand in hand. Yeah. So it's a matter of time,
Yeah.
but it's not there for you and not for Shannon. Absolutely not. God is there for everybody, like the sun is there for everybody. Yeah.
And you
So
can talk
don't.
to your loved
Yeah.
ones still in the spirit world.
If I do that,
Sorry?
if people do that, or I do that,
No, I was just saying that they don't have to feel that they need a medium to say those things that were unsaid to their past loved ones. They
yeah,
can speak to
that's
them.
absolutely. And don't forget, Danielle, there are so many people, you know yourself, they if they come for a sitting, the medium thinks, okay, this was it. It's recognized, the two are together again, there's a bond of love, and then you ask in the end, do you have a question? And they say, are they okay? And that's so often a question. People are really are very serious about it. And I would like to address this, because if you sit with your own people, if you understand that, don't be bothered if part of what you hear or see is your imagination. What does it matter? Feel, if you can feel that there is somebody there, your energy field is changing without doing anything, you feel suddenly happy. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And uh, don't forget that the people in the spirit world, they are looking at us, trying to guide us to become happy. Not happy in the sense, oh, today I'm happy because I got a new kitchen, or oh, tomorrow I will be happy because I've got this or that coming up. No, it has nothing to do with happening of the past or the future. They want us to be happy now.
Mm.
That's the reason why they come. And of course, we also want to give evidence that they are there, because otherwise, we need evidence, clients need evidence. But the main reason is that they want to help us be happy. I'm fine. Be happy. Real happiness.
Mm. Beautiful. Now, Jed has another question. Could you speak about the power and building a relationship with the divine? The longer I unfold and the more I become aware of levels of teaching through the natural world and the presence within it.
I'm doing a session in a couple of hours, which is all about the power within, and it's called The Way to the Heart. And you know, the power within is not something you can get by um, buying something or going to India or whatever. It's there and it's been always there and it will always be there. You are the power. Jet was his name. You are the power. And um, it's like, yeah, it for many decades now. I don't know how old you are, Jet, but for me, it's many decades that I've been interested in who am I, and what is the power. And I got many answers through Yogananda, through spiritualism, but the power is not something I can tell you. It's yeah, I can tell you, but it is something you've got to discover, to dive deep within you. Otherwise, if I tell you or somebody else tells you, it can help you to go within yourself, to take your mind every time and ask yourself, who has this conviction? Who has this idea about somebody else? Because if I tell you, it is always second hand, always second hand. And we need second-hand information to get closer to first-hand experience it in yourself. You are power. And if you know that with your mind, then I would suggest don't leave it there. Otherwise it is a mental thing. And what you are is not mental. It's love.
It's the
And
journey too, isn't it? The
yeah,
journey to finding yourself.
the journey, yeah. And it's so funny, Danielle, because we call it a journey within, a journey to the self, but um, it is between every thought is a silence, and that's what we are. So it's not a journey. Come on, we put our coat on, we get a car, and we go somewhere. It's here and now.
Mm.
And but we forgot it or forgot, yeah, well, forgotten the self you can't forget, but we put layers of emotions and convictions and habits and what parents gave us to believe. So we built it and we can't see the self anymore. So if you take away the thoughts, if you take away the emotions, don't log into it when they arise, because they will arise for the rest of your life. You get your challenges. Don't get me wrong, but don't log in. Just observe the challenge and the thoughts will disappear again. Or take the thought to your heart, and the power of the thought will disappear, and the power of who you are will be able to shine.
It's a beautiful way to say it. Now, I have another question from Judith, who was on our last live, but we didn't get to answer her question. So I thought I might just throw it your way, Yosi.
Yeah.
Now, Judith, she wants to know, some say that we need to increase our vibration to connect with spirit. Others say we need to slow it down with deep meditation. What is your view on this?
It will differ again. Where are you on your pathway of mediumship? Um, if you want to connect and talk with the spirit world, like I've got your father here and he wants to talk about the way he passed and the circumstances, then for that connection with the spirit world, you need to quicken your mind, your psychological mind, but from the power within. Because you need to talk and you need to understand the pictures you are getting or the feeling you are getting to translate it you need to make the recipient understand. And you receive your information through very short, in very short moments, in a picture or a feeling or a word or a thought. But if you want to sit with your family or with your guide, then you don't have to be so quick within your mind. So you blend with who you are and you blend with the spirit world and you simply let go, relax, don't do anything. No effort is needed, nothing. So then, of course, if you do that and you've got your eyes closed and you sit, then your breathing will become slower and so you get more the feeling of, oh, I'm going. But of course, you're not going anywhere, but the thoughts will become less. Is that an answer? I can't see the question.
The question came in from, another live, so I've got it written on the side. But, we have to be careful of our time, Jose, because obviously we have a YouTube live coming up for the Spirit's Voice YouTube community. So, but I'm very thankful for your time and, of course, everybody's questions today. And I'm very excited that you'll be joining us for the online mediumship summit that's coming up at the end of May. So if anybody is interested in that, you can go over to mediummentors.com and you can just let us know on the form that's on that page that you're interested. And once we have all the details finalised, we'll send out an email. Now, Jose, also, how can people connect with you? Like, what can they work online with you at the moment? Have you got any online workshops?
The way to the heart, I'm doing at the moment a lot. I'm helping people who've got spiritual centers, and I'm doing evenings through Zoom with their students. I do it for whole Holland or Belgium, who does speak Dutch as well. I do all those that in this period of Corona for free. And I work with our own students on Zoom, but everything at the moment, except today with you, is in Dutch.
Yes, and also when we get out of all this isolation and we can travel again, they can find you often doing classes and workshops with Arthur Finlay College, and also many of your colleagues. You do a lot of events with collaborations with all your colleagues.
Yes.
And your website, Jose,
My
what's your website?
My website is www.josegosschalk.nl from the Netherlands.
I'll put it in the link below, I'll put the link below so everyone can find you. And if you don't speak Dutch, then you can translate the page through Google Translate. I did that today and found out a whole heap of information I didn't know about before. So don't be scared just because it's not in English. You can still read through it with a bit of translation. Okay,
yes.
Thank you so much, Jose. It's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you. And thanks for everyone for jumping on and asking your questions, considering it was not even advertised. It was just a spontaneous choice to come on Facebook. So that's been great. And hopefully Jose has answered some of your questions and given you a little bit deeper understanding. Thank you, Jose. And anyone that's interested to join us on YouTube, then we'll be over there in about 10 minutes. So until then, goodbye, everybody, and thanks again.